Man, rip my Terran dreams today. Maybe I should start cheering for the Protoss.
Yeah, man, you can't not believe in the power of Protoss. It's gonna go bad for you most of the time. Nah, I'm kidding, but yeah, we'll see if Jjakji can bring it back. But of course, San's just he's a hard player to come up against.
Well, I mean, that was a scrappy game through and through, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
But, anyways, welcome back to the Dragon Invitational, guys. Once again, it is the Dragon Invitational. We do thank him kindly for allowing us to come cast this today. This is game number 2 and the last best of 3 here today. It's the first half of the round of 16 that we've been going through. And without further ado, it is my pleasure in the top left corner of the map from my insanity to introduce the blue Terran player, Jjakji.
And in the top right, we've got our red Protoss player playing for Yowie Flash Wolves. It is San. I mean, it has to be brought up though, like in that early game, we did have that greedy nexus for San, right? And sure, Jjakji played greedy as well, but San had that kind of really good start of the game to kind of snowball him into the mid game, so he's always feeling comfortable there. So maybe if the early to mid game goes a bit better for Jjakji, we'll see a completely different outcome. But I mean, that one gateway, one oracle, third base is it's a very strong build if you get away with it.
Well, it's funny too because the Oracle really, I mean, it itself didn't do a lot of damage, but I can't stress how important those revelations were in the early part of the game, guys. Like, Jjakji is really good at flanking and catching his opponent off guard. It's what he's pretty much best known for when it comes to sort of side swipe attacks, I guess, if you want to phrase it like that. But yeah, San knew everything that was going on for a majority of the game. The observers were so late, but the Oracle really made up for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that Envision as well, like on the Widowmine drop, important to have the energy for that and the Oracle available for that. So yeah, good start of that game, but we'll see how it unfolds this time, as we see San only on one gas right now, so we're not gonna see the same thing out of him because he's not going for those 2 gases into expansion into Stargate. It's gonna be a bit more of a normal opening, just a bit more defensive and conservative. And Jjakji though, again, mining a lot of gas, throws down the factory, and did not make a Reaper.
I think the potential...
Well,
the potential of Widowmines is kind of huge. Yeah. Defensively, offensively. We didn't get to see great examples of it last game, guys, but the damage they deal versus units that have shields basically really good.
Yeah. I mean, the Widowmine drop, if that's what we're gonna see now, is gonna be quicker this game too, because Jjakji did skip that Reaper. Last game he was so like eager to get so much scouting information with an SCV scouting thoroughly and that Reaper scouting thoroughly, but this time skipping the Reaper, going straight into that starport at a quicker time. So maybe he'll be more successful this time. We'll see how San can deal with this. Should see a Robo coming down soon, but for now he's just gonna rally out Stalkers out of the gateway just to have some units out on the field. Probably gonna stay with 2 Stalkers with that Mothership Core and then a Sentry.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's some poke you can do, but I mean, it's not worth dedicating anything, especially if you're expecting your opponent to have a lot of bio early on to just push you.
Yeah, I mean, he has like no scouting information as well, so if he moves out with those Stalkers, that's always going to be a massive risk if there's a drop coming in. And I mean, there's a Medivac on the way and a Hellion in production. He's got 1 Widowmine park, kind of to snipe an if like any potential oracles get picked off. But
yeah, it's a bit of a funny spot. I don't know if it fully covers it, but
yeah. And I mean, he didn't get scouting information of San either. Like, he doesn't know if there were quick gases or not, which there weren't. But yeah, he doesn't know that, so he does have the Widowmine kind of in preparation for that, but he does pick it up now into the Medivac, speeds away, and he's gonna have 2 Hellions soon, ready to dart into the natural, I guess.
Oh, this is actually really delayed. The probe gets up here to see nothing. That's awkward. But this is where I'm a little bit perplexed.
Though,
well, I mean, look at this. The Stalker's in such a good position, kind of like the Widowmine was pre-positioned last time. He's going to lose the Medivac if not careful. So starting loading the Marines, but he's got to load the Widowmine.
Oh my god, that's such a big deal. An Observer coming out just now.
Yo, getting the Medivac alone almost makes this worthwhile. If you can get the Mothership Core, this trades back, but the Mothership Core is a little too fast, and the Overcharge will snipe these off. So sadly, Jjakji, worst possible way this could have gone for him.
Jjakji is so dead. This is gonna be hard, man.
I don't know that he's so dead, but he did no real damage. His chance to get ahead in the early game completely stripped away from him, and of course he's down a little bit in SCVs. What he is getting though, Well, double Marauder production behind this. You got to keep in mind, at the moment, San's only really got Stalkers. So, with coming out fast Colossus, Marauders can also be good until the Extended Thermal Lance upgrades finish. But Jjakji, of course, doesn't quite know much of anything. He scouted the early Robo. From this, you can sometimes guess that it's going to be the early Colossus, as it's the standard thing to do. But you never want to assume in StarCraft 2 unless you're really ballsy. There's some players who are willing to gamble, some players who are not. Those Hellions actually, oddly enough, did do a fairly effective amount of damage for only being 2 of them.
It did kill like... I can't count, like
5 probes.
3 probes? 5? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, nothing insane.
There was something that died before as well, so yeah.
Oh, maybe
not
only 4 then.
Terrible. Does get a few there, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna try and, you know, say this game is over or anything, not even close, but I mean, it's obviously worst case scenario for Jjakji when I wouldn't mind drop does absolutely 0 damage. It's gonna be just a game of catch up from now on. It's gonna be hard for him to be aggressive at all because he's just gonna be, or he has been so behind on economy for such a long time that his army is just not gonna be on par with San, despite the fact that San is taking up so much. He's gonna have those Colossus out so early, and there's only 1 medivac, and there's already Colossus like popping out now, so it's gonna be hard for Jjakji to have medivacs and Vikings.
Yeah,
so I mean, boosting out the armor upgrade.
That was a bit of a interesting way the last game went off too, because of course you know normally you're so used to only getting 4. Jjakji went really medivac heavy, so he never really had that perfect Viking count to deal with Colossus, which is why he was forced to scrap the way he did. This time, if he can come a little bit better prepared, perhaps he plays a little bit less scrappy as a consequence.
Yeah, I mean,
these Stalkers once again gonna drive this back.
Nice position by San there, has those in position. So let's see the work. We have 50 probes to 39 SCV, so yeah, that's pretty bad. And armor supply 34 to 30. Like, normally the point is this player's not supposed to be ahead on armor supply at this point. Because he's been making cannons, he's been teching up, and he's still ahead on army, so...
I love the stim with this Marine. He's gonna die to the Colossus, but... Or not stim, the scout, rather. What am I saying here? He also reveals there's a cannon, so now he knows he can't blindly drop. I mean, that one Marine got more information than most of what's happened so far this game. I would almost argue Jjakji's not really playing on point, though, because one of the other things, too, is he's really good at sniping observers. There's some players in StarCraft 2, honestly, like observers might as well not have Cloak for, but Jjakji is, game number 1 and game number 2, kind of been just letting them scout everything, spot everything.
Yeah. And, kind of a bit of a supply work there for Jjakji, just get out of it rather quickly. And he's going for a Doom drop, so I like this. I mean, this is quite a risk.
It's
like,
not
Link
gonna
is
work,
finishing
though.
up. But it's not going to work, but I like the idea. Like, he realizes that he has to do something wacky to get back into this. He has to do damage to get back into the game. Otherwise, like as we see the 3rd base going down, it's just going to snowball for San. Marine spots it.
Yeah.
Stops Nexus from going down, so nice scouting there by Jjakji. Has the Marine in position. And here comes the Doom drop. As he sees the Colossus are at the 3rd base, he speeds up the boost on the Medivacs, but he does push back, so...
It's because these observers, they see him coming from a mile away. It's the biggest problem for him right now. One small thing too, guys, someone was asking, what were the bets finalized at? When the bets were closed, it was 6,500 placed on Jjakji and 6,827 on San. So, pretty divided public opinion here. But you know what? The one spot that's not covered is the natural entranceway, and he's just going to waltz in with a small amount of units.
Nice movement. And that observer does catch this bio outside the 3rd base, so good observer positioning by San. He's gonna not lose that 3rd there, where a lot of Protoss players would have just had to cancel that 3rd. And Jjakji, he's on 5 barracks. There is no 3rd on the way. He's making Widow Mines as well, which is kind of interesting considering there's a lot of Colossus, but you know, the charge to High Templar transition is on the way, so it's gonna be okay for him, I guess. Okay, 3rd goes down now, but I like that he goes up to 5 barracks before the 3rd base, because this map is so open, you can get a really nice concave on the Protoss 3rd base, so Jjakji is just going to try and get a good fight at that 3rd.
Well, you know,
one
of the more important things too, Jjakji has been always scouting ahead with 1 Marine, stimming it ahead of the pack, segmenting it off, making sure he doesn't walk 8 units into a Colossus. So, once again, his scouting information has been proving to be very, very critical to the way he's been handling the game. But coming from 2 different angles, this might not work. He just, you know, despite the cool moves here, doesn't have a lot of units to work with.
Yeah, not enough Vikings, a lot of Marines dying there to the Colossal laser beams, and Wow.
We know actually, there's not a lot of Vikings, but there's not a lot of Stalkers either. It's mostly Zealots at the moment, so it does work with some Stalkers behind this.
Yeah, that's gonna be important for him. He does have Blink, which is important. Charge halfway done, as well as +2 armor.
Alright, we split up, trying to make sure he doesn't get focus fired down here by a storm or something quite so silly. Stalkers do blink forward, getting caught by the Marauders, but the Vikings get on top of the Colossus. So many are half dead, but none are quite dying, and Jjakji can't get anything dead.
Oh, nice force fields. Gets like 4 or 5 Marauders, and yeah, 3 Vikings versus 4 Colossus. That's not the ratio you want to have as a Terran player.
No. And I just said Jjakji can't get anything dead, but I take that back, because he's getting himself dead a lot here. I mean, it's only been like what
smells blood, man.
Yeah, like that one failed drop spiraled pretty hard off the back end of this, because Jjakji was meant to be able to keep his opponent from getting to this point. But the Vikings finally get 1 Colossus down, 2 may fall, but he's still cutting away from the Zealots, and there's so many Zealots in this army is the problem. Gets his back against the wall very literally. He may have to pick up just to try and get out of here alive, but the Colossus shredding everything in Namshar. This is not looking good. GG. Sen is going to 2-0 Jjakji of all people. What the fuck?
Alright, man.
I mean, Sen's a good player. This was within their own possibility. This is not like an insane upset or anything, but Jjakji's also just such a good TVPer. I wasn't expecting it to be a 2-0 of all things, but that's a...
Yeah, maybe not expecting a 2-0, but I mean, yeah, San is very good. So for me, not incredibly surprising way. Definitely, you know, pretty even player. So it felt like it could go either way, but not an amazing upset or anything that San takes the series. But yeah, 2-0 is pretty swift and pretty nice. Solid play by San.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna wrap up